Alright guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. So in this video, man, I kind of want to talk about Madonna and her new project called Madam X. Um, you know, I don't know how to like really put this. I mean, I can say like maybe the questions I want to ask, and this is for my fellow Cabo Verdeanos. Do you think this is cultural appropriation, or do you think it's cultural appreciation? And I'm going to say this because in one of her songs, she has a orchestra called batucaderas. And you know, if you don't know what that means, is it's batuka, it's batuku dance. And for those who don't know what batuka is a dance that we have in Cabo Verde. It's an African dance, and you know, it's a very rhythmic dance, and it's basically used with drums. It's a 3-beat rhythm over a 2-beat rhythm. And you know, at one time, you know, they actually called batuca, like the Portuguese actually had it forbidden at one time in Cabo Verde, because if you don't know, the Portuguese they were very harsh on African culture when they were colonizing us. You know, as a matter of fact, I think the guy who was the fastest of Portugal, he went as far as to say that Africa does not exist and that African culture does not exist. Basically, with Batuka, as it like progress, it, you know, it involves either clapping the hands or slapping cloth, or even sometimes, you know, slapping bread dough, you know. But then as it progressed, they replaced it with drums, you know what I mean? Now, as far as the dance is concerned, you know, the dance is basically not as, how should I say, it's not as provocative as what we have called funana. It's not as like wild as that, but it still involves the hips mostly. Whereas funana, you can tell that it comes from like the lower body, mostly from the ankles basically, and goes up to the hip area. But I mean, you know, the thing is Batuka is very, very old, you know. And what we can say about it is it's part of the culture still. You'll find it, you know, in most places in Cabo Verde, whether you go to Santo Mauro, Santiago, Fogo, wherever you go. But Madonna, you know, you know, she decided to dig into Batuka. You know, make a long story short, you know, I think she was in Lisbon, and you know, what happened is that you know, this group, they said, you know, why don't you join us, you know, and then she decided to dance with them. And you know, after that, she said she was inspired by it, and she also said, you know, basically she wanted to collaborate with them, and she wanted to do a record with them, with this group of batucaderas. Um, you know, um, you know, I I've watched the video before. I watched the video, and I thought it was cool. I thought it was, I guess you can say, a twist. It was kind of like a twist to it. I mean, because Madonna added her vocals to this video. Uh, the one thing I don't really like that she did in this video, that I was like, okay, why are you kind of like faking the funk? Um, you know, she kind of had like the video in a dark setting. It was like in a, like, I want to say it was almost like in a gothic setting, and I'm like, whoa, why did you do that? But then again, we are dealing with Madonna, like, um, and so, I watched the video and I was like, the batuka rhythm is still there, but you can see that obviously she added I want to say that she added the modernization with instrumentation. She added a lot of instrumentation into the video. As far as her, dancing the batuka, I mean, there really wasn't, there really, I want to say, yeah, she can't really, I mean, there's levels to this, and, obviously she's not on the level. I'm just going to be honest with you. But I guess you can say that at the end of the day, I'm not going to call it cultural appropriation, so to say. I'll call it cultural appreciation for the final verdict. But at the same time, it's like, the thing I didn't like about it that makes me kind of like almost lean towards cultural appropriation is how she like added her twist on it, but like she kind of like, by adding her twist on it, she kind of like canceled out like batuka, period, by adding her vocals on it and stuff like that. I would have liked to see her vocals be in sync with like original melodic batuka vocals, instead of this like almost like gothic sounding like vocals, but I mean, she spoke highly of the band. She said they were embracing her. She said it was like organic and stuff like that. But me personally, I believe that like a more soulful person could have did this like batuka justice. Like, if I'm thinking, like, if you took like a Sade and put her in the mix, that she would like kill it completely. You put a Rihanna in a batuka, she would kill it completely. You put like someone like who else is a good crooner? Trying to think. Hell, you put an Ashanti in a batuka joint, and she'll kill it, bro. I mean, Madonna, she did her thing. It was cool and all. I mean, I understand she adding her twist to it and stuff like that. But, I mean, I'll tap into it. I guess I gotta like listen to it again and see if I can get something out of it, something more out of the video. But, I'm gonna, I mean, she didn't do a whole, this Madam X album, the whole album is not devoted to batuka or, African music genre. But I get it, I get her appreciation of Africa. Um, but I mean, the thing is, you know, it's like we gotta control the narrative, And the way I look at it is, you know, instead of like letting someone like an outsider come and put Batuka on the mainstream, one of us should be to be doing that. Why not? One of us should take the initiative to put it out there and, let people see what Batuka is about, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I guess she feels that, she can get a pass because, after all, she did adopt 2 African kids from Malawi. And so that's why I think she decided to go in this direction. And, again, us Africans, we are, like, due to the climate, we're a warm people. So, we embrace a lot of people, We embrace a lot of people, and sometimes, unfortunately, we don't embrace each other, It's unfortunate, but hopefully things change. It's crazy because, even Amilcar Cabral, the African revolutionary, I'm reading a book right now, and he wrote about this, I can read a part of it, about the whole divide and conquer thing, it's in there. It's definitely in here, Um, here, this is what he wrote. Lately the Portuguese colonists have resorted to another tactic to try to stop our struggle, dividing the people and setting Africans to fight against Africans. It is an old and much used tactic, both by colonists and in imperial colonial wars. But we must denounce it and fight it energetically. But, unfortunately, a lot of us don't want to fight it energetically, a little bit of backstory about me, although my family laid down roots in Cabo Verde, we're originally from, Senegal, Mauritania area, and due to the fact that Arabs are like, I'm just going to say Arabs are Arabs. I'm just going to put it like that. And, the danger that my family was facing in Mauritania, due to, the Arab rule, that's how, like, we ended up in Cape Verde, that's how a lot of my family ended up in Cape Verde. And then we basically assimilated. We still kept our African tribal language, we still kept it, still have it, I still speak it, which is Fulani, or the technical term is for full day, but among, like, for example, since we're more darker skinned, we're pretty, like, dark, we, there was, like, division, like sometimes, like, you'll see in Cape Verde, like, oh, if you're pure African, you're kind of looked at a little bit different because the islands are, I want to say, like 70% of it is mixed race, and then like 20% of it is like direct African descent, like direct Black African. And so, You know, we're part of that 20%, me and my family. And, you know, I noticed that, like, sometimes the mixed population lean towards the European side more than the African side. And so, in a way, this kind of reminds me of that, you know, this Madonna, you know, and maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but it kind of does, you know, in a way. But, you know, I guess, you know, her intention was to show the world batuka and stuff like that. And I guess creativity came, and she said it was natural and organic. So I guess I give it to her, you know. But, you know, hopefully it's an initiative for us to like wake up and smell the coffee so we can tell our own story and not let someone else tell the story for us. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Fula signing out. Njarama.